Hey everyone, and welcome back to Off the Mats at Walters Jiu-Jitsu. And today we are here at Workman Strength and Performance with owner and trainer Rocky. Thank you so much for hanging out today.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here.
So Rocky, tell us what you do here at Workman Strength and Performance.
Yeah, so here at Workman Strength and Performance, we deal with athlete and adult populations. So our adults usually are over the age of 35 years old. They have kids, they have busy jobs, they have busy schedules. And then our athletes, we go all the way from middle school to college and on. So yeah, very excited.
That is really fun. So how does your training differ from your adult training to your athlete training?
Yeah, so we are not a one-size-fits-all model, right? So everybody has different things going on and different bodies, different injuries. So for our adults, we kind of just manage based on what they can do in their training history. So we take a full look at them and also just try to get them in the gym and moving, right? For our athletes, it's going to be a lot more sport specific. So we take a look at what sport they play and kind of the demands of their sport and what they require for it, and then build a program based on that.
Very cool. That sounds really fun. It's not one size fits all training here, just like maybe jiu-jitsu is not one size fits all. There's something for every body type.
Right.
And you have done a little bit of grappling.
Yes. Yes. I enjoyed it so much. It was so much fun. I had a blast. I could not believe how sore my neck was after my first day because I was like holding myself up off the mat the whole time. But no, I really enjoyed it. I stopped because I tore my meniscus, not from training.
That's important to clear up.
Not from training. It was actually from playing basketball. Okay. But no, I had a blast, so I can't wait to get back out there. So
yeah, that's very fun. So what kind of things did you notice from your time training that maybe made you think about training in the gym or some kind of other outside fitness routine?
Yeah. So especially with jiu-jitsu, you have to have a very solid conditioning base. I feel like when you start, obviously like doing the sport, it'll build itself up naturally, but going into it with a good base helps as well. I've never felt my fingers as sore as before either. So like just gripping things and grip strength was also a big component. So both of those things like were pieces that I took away after my first few sessions.
Yeah, very cool. So I've seen a lot of maybe buzzwordy things floating around like functional training, plyometric. Can you explain to us kind of what that is, and does that even matter for like a grappling based sport?
Yes. Okay. So this is a good topic. That's a good question. So with every athlete and looking at them, obviously the sport has its own individual demands and things it requires in and out of season, right? But we want to make sure that we're using the gym for the right purpose. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is a very technical sport, and the only way you're going to get better at jiu-jitsu is by doing jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
But you can use the gym as a tool to kind of lift your potential as an athlete, right? It may not have a direct translation like, I'm going to go in and be better at this specific technique or this technique because I'm using the gym, but I can go in, be a little bit stronger, be a little bit quicker, all those things that the gym can definitely help with. So going back to like plyometrics and functional training, when you come in the gym, if you haven't been training before, but say you're doing jiu-jitsu, you might not be the strongest person when you start. So it would be doing a disservice if we threw you on like the heaviest weight you could do with bad form, because then you're going to get injured going back on the mats, which we don't want to use a gym for that, right? We want to be able to compete in our sport. So when we come in, we may start with more functional movements, like some people say, but it's really just like a solid foundation of we're going to start here and over time build into something heavier, a little bit more progressed. But we want to make sure we're being safe and again, using this for the right reason. When we look at like plyometrics and things like that, those are tools we can use to build up your potential as an athlete, right? If you can jump higher, throw harder, be quicker off the ground, those are all qualities that you may use on the mats. Now, I'm not saying like you're going to go on the mats and you're never going to have to jump 30 feet in the air or like 30 inches into the air. I don't know if you're jumping on somebody's back for like a maybe, but it's still expression as an athlete that you may use on the mats.
Sure,
so.
But as far as that, maybe speed or maybe the up-down motion of, I think of like shooting in, like lowering a level, taking a shot, or defending a takedown, right? You sprawl and you're trying to pop back up. So it could be helpful in a situation like that.
Yeah. My like main two takeaways when people think about the gym or like want to get into it for their sport, is like your sport is the main thing, right? Like let's keep the sport. We want you to come in, but the sport's always going to be the main reason. And then two, let's use it as a tool to build you in that sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. So what would you think would be more important? I hate to say word more important, maybe more appropriate. Do you think lifting heavy or doing a traditional lift, or do you think maybe more calisthenics or body weight based for a grappler?
So strength, I forget where I saw this go, but strength is a rising tide that lifts all ships is what I've heard, and I really like that analogy. But if you can get stronger and become stronger, everything else is going to increase with you. So obviously getting as strong as you can is a good thing, but there's also that like limit and no return. So like if we can already deadlift 405 pounds and we're not really going against any 405 pound people, do we really need to deadlift 415 pounds? Probably not. But having being able to lift heavy, being able to be strong, it's definitely one of the most important things, I'd say, and like what our main goal is when people come in first into the gym.
Sure.
I don't know if that answered your question.
It does, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what about, what did you notice when you were training, or just from kind of hearing different people talk about cardio, the cardio involved with jiu-jitsu? I'll say because we've had people that run marathons or are runners.
Yes.
They're like, I have such great cardio, and then they're training and they are just exhausted.
100%. There's really nothing else like it. Like the best conditioning for jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
That doesn't mean you can't have a good base that will eventually translate over, but it's just like if I threw you on the basketball court, I'm sure you can be on the mats for hours, but as soon as you play a full game of basketball, it's something you haven't done before, so you'll be like, this sucks.
Sure, absolutely.
But no, I think maybe incorporating like when I started the fundamentals class, we had the little drills that we did at the start. It was like 10 minutes. And by the end of those, I was like, oh man, I'm cooked.
Sure.
Like this was hard. So if you want to build up your jiu-jitsu cardio, I think taking those little things and maybe doing them on your own for like intervals or something like that may help.
Sure.
Build a good base, but again, like just doing the sport, I think will build it. So.
Absolutely. And what about flexibility? Do you focus or have any thoughts about building flexibility, or maybe not just flexibility, but mobility overall?
Yes.
That's probably for everybody, honestly.
Yeah. As soon as people come in here for the first time, we do like a full movement analysis, and we warm up before every session. So every session starts with like a 15-minute warm up. We do foam rolling, we do some static stretching, dynamic stretching, and then more active stuff right after that. And we notice like a direct increase between when people get a little bit more flexible or a little bit more mobile, they also get stronger, right? Being able to access different ranges of motion and being strong in deeper ranges of motion always helps. So
nice.
But yes,
that's an interesting like correlation.
Everybody should stretch. Everybody should work on their mobility. And two, like when you look at mobility issues or injuries too, maybe whether that be like knee problems, ankle problems, hip problems, it's usually like a direct chain where I may be having pain in my knee, but then I look at my hip or my ankle and the mobility is just not there. And so that's why one of those joints is taking the brunt. I don't know how directly that may correlate to jiu-jitsu, but I'm sure you get put in different positions where you're like, man, that really was hurting my knee or something, and it's because your hip or ankle couldn't access that range of motion.
That makes a lot of sense, though. Young athletes, what age do you start your young athletes?
6th grade is where we usually start. And again, for them, it's just kind of teaching them where their bodies are in space, right? Because they come in, they have no idea what they're doing or where like their arm is or leg is. So it's really just trying to develop that core strength for them, develop that kind of proprioception of where my body is in space and things like that. So
very good. I was just going to ask, do you train them differently than maybe you would an adult?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. With kids, like if you cue them and tell them like get your hips back a little bit more, push your knees out to the side, most of the time the young kids just like look at you like I don't even know what that means.
Sure.
But then you have kids like him who like understand like, okay, I need to move it out, I need to get my hips back, just things like that. So then you can start progressing them more quickly.
Absolutely. And do you think, I feel like there's maybe I won't say argument, but something in the training that's like, oh, kids shouldn't lift weights or kids shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And some that are like, oh, it's great to start early just to help injury prevention, to help as they get older, like the earlier you can start, the better preventative it is for aging. Like what do you think about that?
Yeah. I feel like when people think that kids shouldn't lift early or start lifting, they think the kids are like coming in, like throwing the weights over their head. Like,
500 pounds.
Yeah, like deadlifting this much. And I'm sure there are extreme cases of like bad training experiences in different places where maybe people did do that and it wasn't the right thing. But we like to give kids a solid foundation of exercises that they would be able to execute on their own, and just like general lifting knowledge and technique, right? So when they come in, we are very heavy on the technique before strength first. Obviously, as technique gets better, then we can start adding more weights, but we take it very slow for them. And like one of the quotes that I heard from my internship was like, you don't kill a cockroach with a bazooka, right? So you don't have to use extreme methodologies and things to get kids stronger. Kids are going to get stronger just by showing up consistently and doing simple exercises, right? We can take a 6th grader and start him on like a basic goblet squat, and have him do that for some kids. You can milk them until they're in 8th grade and they're still progressing on it. So you don't need to switch to something else. Obviously, there are different cases that need or that have a little bit more variables, and you do need to switch it up. But most of the time, like you can use simple exercises for the younger kids for a long time.
Very cool. Maybe I need some simple exercises as well.
Yeah. And I would say the same thing goes for the adults. Like adults are a little bit different because they get bored easily.
Sure.
Like the kids come in and you're like, we're throwing 5 pounds on, and they think it's the happiest day in the world.
Right.
Adults are like, oh my God, I have to goblet squat again. It's my 4th week here. Like, are you joking? So you have to keep it a little bit more interesting for them and give them that variability. But same thing goes, like you don't want to throw in extreme things for the adults if they don't need it.
Right. So what are some things, maybe in a training session, right? You said they come in, everyone does a warm up. Do you spend like one session of cardio, all cardio? Do you like lift the whole time? Do you do some of the jumping, right? Is that plyometric?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like what does an all-encompassing workout?
Yes. So when you come in, we always start with our warm up. And then we want to do the things that are the most neurologically taxing first. So that's going to be like our fastest movements. When you come in, we'll do our warm up. And then after that, it may be our sprints or we're jumping or throwing something, because those are the most neurologically taxing. We say that's like our power work. Okay. And for our power work, we want to be as fresh as possible because we want the highest outputs as possible. From there, then we may work into like our strength work for the day. So that could be some sort of squat, some sort of hinge, some sort of press. And that's not as neurologically taxing, so that's why it's down. Some cases it can be, but that's where we're like generally like 3 sets of 8. We'll do 2 or 3 exercises, and they're trying to push heavy weight, but not the heaviest weight.
Sure.
And then after that, we'll do our accessories, so getting into the little muscles, and then it depends on what part of the season it is, but then we may have conditioning. When the athletes are in season, we don't really see a point for conditioning just because they're playing their sport so much, or they're on the mats every single day and have tournaments over the weekend, so they already have that solid base of conditioning. Out of season, that's when we may hit it a little bit more hard, and we'll always throw that in at the end.
Nice. So definitely kind of an all-encompassing, working on strength, speed, power.
Yes.
Every session.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really great. And I hear you have some maybe workouts or motions that you would like to share that may be good for a grappler.
Yes.
Awesome.
But the ones that I wrote down, if I had to like pick 3, I had some sort of grip work, and for that I had like a farmer's carry where we're just holding weights by our side and walking down the back, or some sort of pull-up. I'll lean a little bit more towards the pull-up side, and that can be palms facing out, palms facing you, neutral, whatever it may be, but just holding on to something for a long amount of time. And you can add weight to that easily. Depending what gym you go to or where you're at, you may not have 100-pound dumbbells that you can use. But most of the time people can always find something that they can hang from.
If people can't pull up, would a dead hang be?
A dead hang would be great.
Awesome.
Or something like where you jump up and get your chin over the bar and then slowly lower yourself, and then maybe hang at the bottom for a few seconds. Those are all great. There's a ton of different things you can do with the pull-ups or chins. From there, I had the airdyne bike. Oh, sorry, I gotta go back. If you have a rope, like the rope climbs, that's the absolute best thing, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's like, if you have a rope in your gym and you can climb a rope, like do that. That would be awesome. Because that, in my opinion, is the absolute best thing for grip and strength.
Sure.
Yeah. The second one I had was the airdyne bike. Yes.
My favorite.
Yeah, I had the airdyne bike because it's full body. Your arms and legs are going. And it's super friendly on the joints. I know road work is like pretty popular, like people going and running for long distances, but sometimes that may not feel the best on the joints, especially if you're rolling so much. So like the airdyne bike, you can hop on. It's friendly on the knees, friendly on the elbows, and you can dictate the different intensities that you want based on the season you're in. So that's another reason why I like that. My favorite, the deadlift. I think the deadlift is the next best one, and it doesn't always have to be a trap bar or straight bar. If you are new to lifting and just trying to build the technique, maybe like a kettlebell deadlift would be the best thing to start with, because you're A, still working on the strength portion of it, but B, it's a little bit friendlier position. And then I would go trap bar over the straight bar, in my opinion, just because if you're doing it on your own, trap bar is going to set you up in a more advantageous position for you, whereas a straight bar is a little bit more technical aspect to it. So pretty much trap bar is just easier to learn, and you could still load up heavier weights on that. But I think it's just a good overall expression of full body strength. So that's why I like the trap bar.
I was going to ask if there's any specific deadlift variation you like.
Trap bar is my favorite. But always, if you haven't deadlifted before, kettlebell deadlift first and then trap bar. But yeah.
Very cool. Excellent. So lots of great things. I love that you included the grip strength.
Yes.
I think that's really important.
I need to say this too. I'm sorry. Do something for the neck. I would, if I was a jiu-jitsu athlete, or like if I was training for a jiu-jitsu competition, I would touch on the neck every single session that I'm in the gym. Just because I feel like having that neck strength, like a bigger neck, I feel like is a good, like jumping kind of. grab onto
Yes.
you. But also being able to hold yourself in those different positions, I think I would 100% work on the neck too. So.
I hate to put you on the spot, but can you think of a neck work, like an
Yeah,
exercise?
a very simple one is if you just lay on the side of this bench and like I'm on my side, just put a weight on the side of your head and then just let it come down and then back to neutral.
Oh.
You can do that way. You can do it the opposite way. So like I'll lay belly down, have it on the back of my head, come up to neutral. You can put a band on your neck and then have the band set up on the other side of the rack and do the same thing. And then two, any type of partner isometric. So if I had somebody come up and they just held their hand here and I had to push into their hand for like 3 seconds as hard as I could, those would be
That's great.
other ones.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that's like an overlooked maybe body part for grappling.
Yeah.
But it is important. Like we definitely sometimes can be on our necks in weird
Yeah.
positions. So that's
Yeah.
really great.
What people can take away from this, or that I hope they take away, is the gym. Nobody's trying to take the gym and replace your sport with it, or at least that's not what we do here. So we recognize that the sport is the main thing, but again, like use the gym as a tool because if you're a better athlete, then you may be able to express yourself a little bit better on the mats or whatever sport it may be. And then if you do start lifting and you haven't been in the gym regularly, don't have a ego when you step in, right? It's the same way on the mats. Like I'm not gonna go in there and think like I'm gonna take on that black belt because I'm gonna get absolutely crushed. Like I shouldn't even be looking that direction. But like when you come in the gym, it's better to start slow and build up your base than to think you just need to lift the heaviest weights right off the rip, right? Again, we're trying to stay injury free and as healthy as possible. So start slow and then progress over time. I think the gym intimidates a lot of people sometimes because they think it's like loud music, yelling all the time.
The gym bros.
Yeah, exactly. But I think good training doesn't have to be that, and it's not that all the time. Most of the adult clientele that we work with here is females over the age of 35, and we have a great time in here. And we lift heavy weights when we need to, and then like one of the things I always say is like I want you to come in the gym, do a session, and then be able to go to work later on.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't come in here most days and like leave not being able to move. That's just not what we do. But yes, training is good for you. Being a part of a community is good for you.
Yeah.
You should be in the gym. You should have a hobby or a sport or something that you compete in. And then for the athlete group, yes, you should aim to be a better athlete. It will always help. So.
Absolutely. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Never too old to start any kind of new hobby
No,
try anything new.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Well, thank you so much for just sharing some workouts, some great information. I feel like I've learned quite a bit today. And if you are in the Craven County, Carteret County, Eastern North Carolina area, definitely recommend Workman Strength and Performance. You guys have an Instagram?
We do, yes. Our Instagram is Workman Performance. Our website is workmanperformance.com. And anybody can go on, athlete or adult, and schedule a free first session.
Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
All right, and we will see you next time on Off the Mats. Bye.